The zone wasn't capped. There's no penalty, Sassy.
Aside, and it's just you. Getting that 52 to work and getting a triple.
Hello, and welcome back to the Splat World Series REWOUND, where we are taking a look at all of the sets that you didn't get to see on the stream. My name is Rose, and I'm joined here with Frostix. How are you doing?
I'm fired up. That's the lead. That's all I gotta say, because we've got Ascension versus Flower Man in round 3 of the Swiss stage. Rose, what's Ascension got for us?
Man, Ascension, we're going to be looking at Sam, Manzana, Mirage, and Kool-Ace. Mirage probably going to be on that pencil, but, you know, Heavy Splatling's been seeing a lot of use lately as well, so it really depends on what they're looking for. I wouldn't be shocked if we're really going to see mostly that pencil for, of course, having the Tacticooler for the team. 52 Gal is no stranger to Splatoon, but you know what? If you've been paying attention the last half year or so, Luna Blaster it's been pretty great. If you're good at managing your space and getting in on somebody like Kool-Ace is, you can really be a force to be reckoned with.
And one more note from Ascension here. Manzana and Kool-Ace may just pull a switchy on us, and Manzana may bring out the Luna, and Kool-Ace may bring out the Gal. And very interesting, considering that I know Kool-Ace, being a really prominent Luna Blaster. And on the other end of their board, the opposing team will be Flower Man, consisting of Bonk, Cairo, aka Zombie, Ryu, and Soro here. Bonk, we know them, Bonk for their Carbon Roller, but they've also got the V-Roller and the Rush from them. I mean, Cairo, I see them a lot as Zombie. They make this Tetra work. They're a monster on those Tetras here. Ryu, we're seeing them on potentially Zap Mini or Heavy, but we may also see them, we're probably going to see them a lot more on 96 here. The value of the VAC is never to be underestimated. And then you've got Soro, their backline on the pencil, maybe also the leader depending on the map here. So there's just going to be a lot of aggression coming out from Flower Man. Between Carbon and Tetra, you need to make sure you get your ankles broken.
Yeah, I think in Tetra and Carbon can work pretty well together if they're making sure to attack from different angles. You know, Tetra drawing some attention, Carbon going in and finishing them off. 96 is nothing to, sneeze at. It can splat people real fast. Initial strikes for those stages are going to come in. We will not be seeing Urchin, Flounder, Crab Leg. But moving on, we're at Brine Water. And this could be a Charger v Charger situation. We know Charger's quite strong on Brine Water.
Dare I say, this was the random pick for the start of the set, but this is kind of a dream for Bonk, for Cairo, for Kool-Ace here. Everything is so close quarters, and then really kind of slippery front lines like Luna, like Carbon, like Tetra. They thrive on Brine Water here, and I'm really excited to see maybe the Carbon or the Tetra can have a really cool opening. Same thing with the Luna. What are we going to see on the opening from both of these teams? A Neo Machine from Kool-Ace?
Interesting. Not what I expected. We do have that 96 Gal like we were thinking. Starting out real quick. Gonna get initial points on the board. They don't mean a whole lot at this point. And Bonk, I feel like if you're named Bonk, you gotta be playing a roller. But that Gambit not gonna pay off to begin with. That VAC is gonna be ready for Ascension. They're gonna start using it now, but still not able to do a whole lot with it initially. But they are, at least you're staying alive. You're making sure you're keep holding that zone. Trades are going to go down back and forth, but like you've said, this is going to be a fun stage for both teams where they can play aggressively. So I think things are going to go back and forth a lot.
back and forth a lot indeed. It's only 95 to 56 here, and anything could change as we're already seeing Ascension starting to clap back, and Cairo goes down to that machine, and if anything, Kool-Aid can start ledging to like as much as they can, unless of course they go down to Bonk here, and they're almost getting rid of another person before they jump out. And Ascension, they're practically always matching them whenever they try to go in. They at least ensure they can take 1 members, 2 members down, always make sure they got the numbers disadvantage on them, and that way they don't have a lot of members to take some space with. Meanwhile, on Ascension, they're taking space in spades. Look at Toro. Look at the 96 just absorbing all of the crab bullets, and the crab then gets shredded. They're already counting down. Even with 2 members down, Flower Man holding the space and making sure the damage is dealt.
Yeah, they're going to have to get paint on that zone first because they've got a lot of points they're going to have to point through. Getting that quick slosh in is going to help them out. Now they can start setting up to hold this zone. They're going to need more people in front, though, and making sure we're going to take that fight off of the zone whenever possible. Fighting that alley is super, super great. If they can just keep this zone, and they're going to keep challenging Ascension, make sure that you cannot ascend into our space. You need permission to get through us first. They can't get in. And gosh, it's going back and forth. Do you think that Ascension is going to be able to hold on to this to make sure that they get the penalty points cleared, get through, make sure they keep holding this, and it turns over? What happens next, Frostix? What's their game plan?
Probably push in all the way at their doorstep, as we're seeing from Manzana and Sam here. They're backing off because of the vac, but they immediately paint off the vac shot here. They're already juiced up on Soda, and they just took so much space away from Flower Man here. They practically did their job for them, and they shut out Flower Man from ever taking that zone in a reversal knockout from Ascension.
Nothing's gonna be blooming on that field going forward. I feel like so often at every level of competitive Splatoon, it really comes down to how does your retake go? And if it gets messed up, and if it keeps getting messed up, that it's like, how are you going to get in?
Like, when you have a Gal and also a Splash that is like right in front of you here, we already know how aggressive Gal is. It can play ring around the Rosie around its wall. Like, the nerfs didn't really affect it that much, so it can 2-shot you. It's got Whale to chip you from afar, and then it's assisted by a weapon with a burst bomb with a really high kill time, with a really short kill time and a lot of paint. So now we're back to the strike and select stage, where Ascension will be banning the next 2. What are we gonna see? What will Ascension get rid of?
Yeah, they're gonna get rid of Manta, so that's gonna be a dual zone out, and Wahoo's also going to be out. Not really stages that I would necessarily think that Flower Man would be picking, but who knows? They're gonna end up taking us over to Robo Ramen, which is definitely more of a staple. Yes. I feel like a lot of teams really enjoy Robo Ramen. Can you think of any reasons why Flower Man thinks that they might do really well here? Is it just Carbon being able to do some pretty aggressive things here?
I mean, it probably can. It's got, like, there's a lot of good flank routes that both Bonk and Cairo can just go through here. If they go down the underside, and if they can go undetected for a prolonged period of time, they can strike right when Ascension least expects it. I think Ascension, they need to be, they always need to be conscious of, like, you know, any patch of paint could have a Bonk in it. It could have Cairo just waiting to strike here. And I think they played that really well on Brine Water. So what's in store? Kool-Aid is sticking with Machine, actually. They're on V Machine now, and I think I gotta check my clock. Is this actually 2023?
Right? They want that Zuka. They want that Zuka. They're gonna, be using these marks with the Zuka. It could go pretty well. I mean, especially, having the marks on a Carbon could be really nice. Make sure they're keeping an eye on where Bonk is at any point so that Bonk can't be sharking quite as well. But that's not going to stop Bonk. Going in for the second, denied, not able to get it. But still, Cairo is going to try to keep pushing this forward. Not able to do a whole lot. Just kidding. Getting a pick off of that. And Tetra, sometimes it's not even necessarily about the picks. It's just about, hi, look at me. Don't pay attention to the Carbon who's rapidly approaching your location.
Exactly. It's kind of just like taking their attention away from key points in the map here. It's another interesting way of taking space, which is really just the end goal for most Splatoon matches here. And Soro, they've got a big problem because you have Chibicola moving in, but Bonk is able to get rid of them right then and there. Kool-Aid will be popping their Zuka here, getting rid of Soro. It's only Ryu left here, and they've got a Crab lying in wait. And it's a really solid stagger. They're timing their specials, making sure that they're not popping them all at once here. They're not moving in so far, but they're still holding a lot of space.
Oh, that slider is going to take somebody out, but is going to end up becoming a trade in the end. But people going down on both sides here. It's an even 2v2. Carbon trying to stay alive the best they can, just put on the pressure. You've got the lead at this point. You don't have to go for super aggressive plays here. I know you want to because you're a Carbon, but even just buying time by asserting aggression, but doing so without necessarily throwing away your life with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, because like a lot of space was still kind of just left for the taking after that past push, we're already seeing Ascension doing what they did back at Brinewater and take space right when they can. They're out of penalty here, and I'm not sure if Flowerman has responses, but here comes response number one, the slider. That won't claim any targets, and once again, Cairo keeps getting punished for these sliders, and it's just a really unfortunate drawback that slider has. It's a really punishable special. Even still, though, you have Ryu and you have Bonk trying to get more paint on the zone here. They're right back into control. The leads are still very close, 43-35, and now we're seeing Gyro in that isolated duel getting the trade. Right now, it could just be anyone's game, but Kool-Ace getting rid of Bonk.
I don't even know if that was intentional or just a lucky shot. I really don't know, but I think it was wonderful. They don't have numbers advantage anymore, but still they put enough pressure. Bonk is going to have to make something happen here if they want to get control of that zone, which looks like they may do just now. But I love how Kool-Ace has been making sure we're keeping Bonk marked. We know where that Carbon is. Don't get surprised by them.
I mean, it's not just the marks, but they're also constantly where Bonk wants to be. They're just keeping Bonk in check. You are the anti-Bonk right now, Kool-Ace here. And already, Sam's Crab is dealing damage to that zone here. It's once again put into neutral, allowing Ascension to cap it right back, not allowing Flowerman to stay in. And Bonk's already chipped half and marked here. And also, you've got Ryu marked as well here. Ascension just keeping tabs on everyone from Flowerman, whether or not it's the Carbon or even the Tetra here. And Kool-Ace is also able to duel them effectively here from the bottom all the way to the top, chipping out Soro as well. But Sam, they're playing a little bit of Bonk's game and going for the shark, getting rid of Ryu, always making sure that zone is always capped in yellow.
Yeah, they're almost through penalty points. You know, you can tell they want to keep control of that zone, but doing so would have been far too dangerous. They gotta let it go at this point. Try to make sure that everybody is alive as much as possible in this final minutes, so that we get pressure on that zone, which they need to do right now to make sure this does not switch over, which would be disastrous for them. It is a 1-point separation right now. Fireman is okay. Ascension still in that lead, but they are flirting with danger right here. If they can get some picks in, they're going to feel a lot more secure going into the final 30 seconds.
I mean, if anything, they're already taking elbow here. They're almost out of their penalty. They've already gotten rid of Bonk here. Unfortunately, Ryu going down right then and there, it could be a little unfortunate. Here comes a slider from Cairo. It puts the zone into neutral, and Cairo's finally able to jump out. We're seeing Ryu trying to go in. They put the bubble up. Will the rest of Flowerman try to act on it? Yes, they are. We're seeing Bonk barreling forward, getting rid of Sam. We're already seeing Montana going down, and already the rest of Flowerman are taking elbow, doing a bit of Ascension's game. Cairo is marked. It could be a little bit testy, but they were making it work. They go down here, and in overtime, Rose! In overtime!
The lead changes sides in the last possible moment when we're in our overtime, making sure that we keep control of that zone. Flowerman getting the second game in this set.
And we go to a game 3. Okay, obviously it's a play all 3 set.
We go to an exciting game 3.
This next game in the Swiss could just be for all the marbles to determine where you will be seated next here. And really excited to see where we're going here, because now Flower Man is going to be banning 2 stages here. And you really need to be thinking now, what do you want to get rid of? Eeltail and Mahi! That's a really crazy pick from Flower Man, but I totally get it.
I mean, having played Tetras in the past and also them having Bonk, I would be like chomping at the bit to play on Mahi. But it's, you know, I could just be with the people that I play with really enjoy. We love our aggressive carbons on Mahi, but not everybody does.
Exactly. It could be a little bit unsure for I think for Bonk's case here, and I think especially if if Mahi kind of stays too long with the water up here, the territory is just way too unsafe for Cairo and also for Bonk. So instead, Ascension picks Mako Marts here, and honestly, probably works a little bit more for them because you have Kool-Ace on the machine here, infinite. Okay, not anymore. Kool-Ace on the custom blaster, infinite potential to ledge. Yeah, infinite potential to ledge.
Yeah, like I do think that this is a particularly good carbon map as well, but yeah, it's hard to argue against when you see the Kool-Ace on that custom blaster and you'd be like, yeah, that's a really disastrous weapon for us to fight against on this map.
You just have to be keeping it in check. Always make sure that you're fighting it at the max possible range, or try to find a way to weave in and out when it's shooting. And right now, I think Flower Man, they're making use of their opening 2 picks really well here. They're trying to paint over the stacks. And okay, they're a little bit hesitant to try and take a little bit more space here. Probably they're trying to refill, probably get some specials online, because we're already seeing Bonk firing off their Zuka. We have Ryu with their they have their bubble ready to go. Bonk's able to get rid of Manzana right then and there. That's a really good play to get rid of the Gal, because you immediately get rid of a lot of aggressive force from Ascension here. The whales come out from Manzana as well here. Unfortunately, I think that's Soro going down, so that's no cooler on Flower Man. But Bonk, they're looking to go on the flank, but I think their attention has been a little bit too misplaced, as the zone is now in neutral, and I think it's only a matter of time until Ascension finally gets this zone.
Yeah, it just took a little bit more time. They just needed somebody other than Kool-Ace firing some paint onto that zone. It did end up working out for them. I was going to say that, this was Ascension's map pick, and we talked about how, this is pretty great for both teams. We saw Bonk really having a strong start at the beginning of this particular game. This could start swinging the other way. However, Ascension is going to start really holding this down. They've got the cooler ready to go. They can do those quick super jumps when they've got cooler active. This is going to be, we're going to see Kool-Ace going in here, being able to get some good pressure. That's not, never mind. I would say that's not going to get them, but those hands can travel, able to slap them just in time. They can keep holding this down with the crab online. They're likely to hold this down just enough to get the lead now. Still going back and forth. Flower Man's trying to throw everything they have at this, but it is not slowing down for Ascension.
I think the biggest loss here within that potential retake was the loss of Cairo's Slider. But as soon as I say that, that's an immediate flip for Flower Man, as Cairo's Slider is able to finally connect right then and there, and Manzana is able to be shut down right then and there by Cairo as well here. They're putting a lot of effort to ensure that they are able to hold it for the rest of their team as they are respawning. Bonk, unfortunately, not able to travel far without getting noticed by Mirage. Already, Kool-Ace, they're having their eye on left stack. Same thing with Sam. If Sam can get a crab up on left stack, that would be great. And there's that crab from Sam. They've got a lot of advantage over on right stack here, where Bonk and I think Ryu are chilling in. They are also able to get rid of Yaiba. They're getting rid of Ryu here. That's one aggressive force. That's one aggressive player and one supportive player going down. And it's going to allow Ascension to have a little bit more brevity as they're painting their specials back up. The whale's coming out, the soda's coming out here. This hold is going really smoothly for them, even as Kool-Ace is going down. But things definitely are changing now, Rose.
Yeah, I saw how many specials were online for Flower Man. They had that triple splashdown from Kool-Ace, which would have been huge for holding that zone and threatening anybody pushing in. But going down when Kool-Ace did was really opened things up for Flower Man to get back in. But still, we say that, but Flower Man needs to have a sustained hold on this to get the lead. And right now they're struggling to do that. They've been able to poke it. They've been able to grab control of it for a moment here, but it's just not been panning out for them. I think like definitely this AoE has been really, really huge, if not getting outright splats for pushing people away. Kool-Ace is gonna be camping that jump, but misses it because that is what a Tetra does. They jump in and they roll out of the way.
Yeah, you definitely needed to read the name tag of who was jumping there, lest you get your ankles broken by Cairo. But it's not just your ankles broken, it's also just Cairo being broken in general. Their slider, unfortunately, getting punished then and there. There's 50 seconds left on the clock, and Flower Man, they need to get some pace on the floor because Ascension's timer is almost up, and now they're counting down. The zone is in neutral here. It's right back into control of Ascension. Bonk getting rid of Manzana's one thing, but I don't think it's going to be enough to stop Ascension from knocking it out. And in a very, very decisive Game 3, Ascension will be winning this set.
Zoro at the end there, you could tell desperately trying to throw Ink onto that square, just not at a great angle to do that. And you know, pencil can paint, but you can only do so much on your own when you're also being pressured there. It was a good last-ditch effort. Ascension just played that so aggressively, knowing that we just got to keep them away from the zone. And even if their backline's up, what's the backline gonna do on their own at the end?
Exactly. I think one thing you pointed out within the set was that I think Ascension just brought so much more AoE to the table here. And I think a lot of it comes from just Kool-Ace moving in and Sam backing them up with the crab here, because you've just got so much stuff firing on you. You've got crab shots and you've got a blaster just whittling you down here. If one doesn't get rid of you, the other surely will, and it just slows down Flower Man. And then when Flower Man slows down, I think that's when they start to dip in the quality of their pushes here. You mentioned that they weren't holding for a long time. They're able to flip it, but they're not able to hold it. And truly, when it comes down to zones, holding matters more than flipping.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing when you're working with slider on Tetra specifically. You know, it really doesn't have that quick, easy AoE hit that you could do with something like a Dreadbringer to flick the ink after, you know, doing something like that. But it is Cairo doing the best they can with the tools that they have.
They made it work. I mean, I think Megamart has a lot of good flank routes, not just for Cairo, but also for Bonk. If they can go through a little bit of streets in between the stacks, I think they went through that a lot. But I think also you had that gal just constantly walling them off and checking them whenever they can and preventing them from moving a lot. And it's like I said earlier, when they're slowed down, they can't really make a lot of moves here. So they had to have like all members on the field, and they need to like rush that. And especially when Ascension was just pressuring them with a knockout closer and closer, things were dire.
It was dire. And that is gonna be it for this set, but there is still more coming your way in the Swiss stages from IPL, so make sure to keep checking back for more.
What's all this for? It's got me turned around, but I can't ignore the feelings that